Hey up folks, we've got a little game here with Destoffel playing as the Lictor Alpha, another very elusive faction these days. I feel like I don't see a lot of Eldar and I don't see a lot of Tyranids. But yeah, it's going to be Destoff and he's going for his triple Hormigaunt build. He's going to be facing off against the Aversa Assassin of... Aversa Assassin 2456? What? SgtSmith is the player. So, I'm going to be going for double IST opening. Probably wise against triple Hormagaunts. You probably need the extra firepower, or you're just going to lose basically all the map. The tricky thing here is that you ideally want Purgation to handle all the melee, but Purgs don't infiltrate. Sorry. Well, they don't infiltrate, that's correct. They don't detect infiltrators is what I meant. You need operatives to do that. I was watching and thinking about this guy infiltrating. Oh, look at that! Look at that timing! Beautiful timing. He didn't know the Lictor was there. He just got to it on time. Because the Lictor was going to start decapping that bad boy. So yeah, Grey Knight's strike squad will easily handle an isolated Hormagaunt squad. But if those Hormagaunts are joined together, two squads of them, it could go differently. And also with a flesh-hooking Lictor Alpha, things could go differently too. However, there is also a Psychon Aversa Assassin right here and some IST providing firing support, so that is a very bad situation for the Hormagaunts. Destoffel really needed to double up both of them together in that situation, but now I'm concerned for the strike squad. They are in retreat path of Hormagaunts and the Lictor Alpha. Oh, they're definitely losing models. Oh my god, they're losing... Oh, they're dead! They're dead! Greedy, greedy, greedy play by the Aversa Assassin. Huh. Hormagaunts got away on 1 HP, but Hormagaunts are so fast! It has to be expected. You really have to play defensive in the early game in this matchup. Auto Malleus are a faction that scales really well as the game goes on. You start leveling up your Grey Knights and you get those powerful late game units out, like your Grey Knight Terminator, Librarian, like your Grey Knight Terminators. Purifiers with levels, Strike Squad with levels. These are very, very powerful units. So you have to play it safe in the other game when you're vulnerable. You don't have your upgrades, you don't have your squad leaders, you don't have your levels. It's a tricky situation. You want to bleed your opponent without bleeding yourself. So what I'm trying to say is he won that engagement really by forcing off those Hormers, and then he needed to get those strikes out really. He shouldn't have stayed in. Going for that chase on the Horms, it was not worth it, man. He'd already bled a few models. There was no reason to go for a wipe. Not if it meant putting yourself with Lictor Alpha and another Hormagaunt squad with 8 models in retreat path. Not worth it. So that's the new ability there on the hero. Trying to control him. I see gonna punch a bit. Shank with your rifles. Rifle bonk. Can they kill the Lictor Alpha? Oh, they get him. Alright. So yeah. He's still in this game. He gets the Lictor Alpha. He's got warriors to contend with now, but at least the Purgation are on the field. Probably, honestly, wants to get the... what the hell's it called? The Eviscerator Axe or whatever it is. On the Aversa Assassin. The one that gives him 50 power melee damage in tier 1. He's got the Chemnades now, but... I mean, it's suppression. The main advantage of that is that it reduces the melee damage that things deal, but you can't really... You need your own melee squads to help sort of contest that. Hormagaunts doing 50% reduced damage against IST is still going to rip them to pieces very fast. So I think getting the Eviscerator Axe now would be very good. Obviously, he can use those Chemnades to help protect his Purgation. It will help them be a lot more survivable. They still have their halberds, so they should be quite competent in melee. But they can then just use it to disengage when the enemy is suppressed. But this is overall a pretty good situation for the Aversa Assassin here, getting their Gen Bash off. Once again, purged by fire activated on the Lictor before he infiltrates. Really, Destoffel should have infiltrated first and tied up those Purgation, and then he wouldn't have took that unnecessary damage. But in the meantime, double Hormagaunts have been on the Auto Malleus gen farm. The Aversa Assassin himself has been sent to deal with it, using Bio Meltdown. A lot of models bleeding on either side here. And the result, of course, is A lot of red for both sides to utilise. Constantly replacing gens is bleeding the Aversa Assassin of all of his requisition. Destoffel going to be going tier 2. So we see a sergeant here on this squad of IST. No detection is going to be very awkward. Right now we're only dealing with a default Lictor, so the damage potential isn't gigantic. Oh, nice Chemnade there. Did pin down those warriors. I'm not sure they needed to retreat just as soon as they did, but they did. Lictor looking to try and get a couple more models before he gets pinned by the Purgation. He got one. Yeah, the EA is having a very fun time here, given that there's no Raveners and Termagants to focus him down from afar. Termagants really don't enjoy fighting him in melee. They can overwhelm him, but it just takes so much damage. Okay, now the EA needs to be careful because of the leap from the warriors. Oh, gets quite lucky. He was in the middle of a special which made him immune to the knockback. It's tanking beautifully right now. Chemnades go out. IST trying to stay in play. Trying to pop a model on the warriors, but yeah, that Hormagaunt and warrior squad weren't chemnaded, so they're doing too much damage. Finally gets the model. Like I say, if he had the Eviscerator axe, that would be... he'd be killing them a lot faster. I guess the reason why he didn't go for it is because he knows he wants the Neuroclaw in tier 2. The Eviscerator axe ability improves the AoE damage of things around you. I don't know if it improves the damage of the EA himself. I think it does. But regardless, that ability would be a lot stronger, of course, if he had the Strike Squad nearby. And again, it would also make the Chemnades more useful. So it was really a big shame that he lost the Strike Squad. I'm not sure if he bought the Chemnades after the Strike Squad was lost. I feel like he did, which seems very odd to me. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a great purchase. It's fine. It kind of gets the job done, I guess. Wow, impact grenade there from the ISPC Starge doing gigantic damage there to the high model Hormagaunts. They're missing so many shots on retreat! Come on, lad! God, took him ages there. Missed about another 3 shots before taking out that 1 HP Hormagaunt. But there you go, another Hormagaunt squad down. A little bit of missed micro there from Destoff. Not noticing the Hormers getting naded on the side. And here comes the ubiquitous Rhino. Oh, they're so good right now in the meta. I mean, they've always been good. They're just so good when you've got high-level players that can micro them well. Transports, but in particular the Razorback and the Rhino, because so much of their damage is going into the same models on a good firing pattern. Very scary. And smoke. They can drop smoke, which buys you time to absorb AV, whilst you then tie it up in melee with things like an Aversa Assassin. Here comes the Neuro Gauntlet, as described before. I mean, it's the same concept. It's a load of power melee damage that can help you tear apart enemy synapse creatures, and this is probably the reason why he avoided going for the Eviscerator axe in tier 1, because he knew it would be partially redundant if he wanted to then swap out this later in tier 2. It'll be interesting to see how long he keeps Purgation with their Incinerator versus swapping them into Psy Cannons to do a lot of nice damage to the warriors from afar. Problem is the Psy Cannons are going to be so vulnerable to Hormagaunts just rushing them down. Probably not worth it for a while. But let's see what the Rhino can do. It is now a Rhino with a heavy bolter turret on the top, twin-linked heavy bolter in fact, and so that is now a Razorback. So we'll see how this Razorback can do. Obviously we've got Venom Brood on the field for Destoff. Might actually go for a couple of Venom Brood. Looks like the Lictor Alpha's going to town over here. He's got the Lone Hunter now, so that's going to give him a boost to his damage. 40% more damage, man. And he's got the Scything Talons, which are his highest DPS weapon that he can equip. 81 power melee DPS. It's pretty significant. Razorback trying to lure the warriors into the Neuro Gauntlet EA. Wow, the fucking bolt pistol of all things killing a warrior there. And a Dreamland warrior dying to a bolt pistol is quite amazing. That doesn't happen too often. But yeah, dealing with this Lictor is going to be a pain. Oh, he's actually detected him via the targets acquired global of the Aversa Assassin. which reveals all enemy units on the map through Fog of War, and if they're infiltrated, it reveals them from infiltration. He's going to be purchasing a Terminator Librarian. I assume he's going to send this down the sidelines with the IST to deal with this Lictor Alpha. Obviously, he's got that Sanctuary Bubble ability, which will knock back anyone in the area, so you can put that on your IST to prevent them being tied up by the Lictor Alpha, and then shoot the Lictor Alpha to death. He himself will be okay in melee against the Lictor, but let's face it, a Lone Hunter Lictor will rip this guy to pieces 1v1. And the Terminator Librarian is not very fast either. The Lictor can be, especially with Stalk as a global. So he needs to be very careful about his Terminator Librarian. Could be effective if he can micro him. If he loses attention, could go very badly. Big engagement right now. Where is the smite from the Terminator Librarian? Here comes the Sanctuary. There is the Sanctuary disrupting the melee. Neuro Gauntlet, EA with Psychon, in melee with a Venom Brood, absolutely ripping them to pieces. And that's a problem, because it means there's no counter to this Razorback, which is just chilling here, firing away. Purgation can get out and suppress these Homers. Meanwhile, the Terminator Librarian has just been chopping up these warriors. Bang, another model down. Can the EA get another one? Oh, he does. Look at the damage on this boy right now. Picked up the Sin Skin Body Glove. Tier 1 tanky armor for the EA. But because the EA is the EA, it's not as tanky as other melee heroes' tanky armors. But it indirectly helps him quite a lot with his offense, because it makes Psychon last for longer and cost only 50 HP to activate, not 100. And Psychon improves its DPS by 30%, so... Yep, he can just spam that now, and he's got an additional 75 max HP and 1 HP per second regen. Pretty good. Look at this guy, man. Level 6 EA right now with over 1000 HP. That is a lot for an Aversa Assassin. If we contrast that with a level 2 Lictor Alpha, with a rather measly 661 HP. He does have the 25% passive DR when no one's around. Of course, he can infiltrate. He's actually doing way more damage than the EA as well, with 81 times 1.4 versus 92.5. There you go, Chemnid to suppress the Hormagaunts and the Bio Meltdown. Charging forward, well, not really charging forward, but moving forward into the Venom Brood. Hormagaunts retreating through the Bio Meltdown right now, also taking backlash damage, but not enough to wipe them, unfortunately. He needed another kill, really. So probably worth it, given the amount of red that has been generated in this matchup. The amount of time that he just bought there was pretty great. Not quite able to pick up the Lictor Alpha, unfortunately. Gonna have to deposit these Purgation in the Rhino, advance forward again. See what he can get to. What's the plan, boys? We've got a Tyrant Guard and we've got some Rippers for Destoffel. Rippers are interesting. I feel like the firing lines of the Auto Malice aren't really achieving a whole lot right now. I don't think these last guns are that important. Oh, well, he has picked up some plasma guns now. That will be relevant. Oh, and he's picked up the Acolyte Leader as well. No Sergeant, but the Acolyte Leader on that squad. So Rippers, you know, generally used to tie up ranged units. I feel like the most of the ranged firepower is coming out of the Rhino right now. You obviously can't tie up a vehicle, so... Well, you can tie up vehicles if they're ranged walkers. You can't tie up a transport vehicle. So I'm not sure about the Rippers. I'm not sure about them. So much range damage coming out right now. IST Razorback Purgation, using their ability, takes out that Lictor fast, but the Lictor's not a tanky dude. Destoffel, unfortunately, paying too much attention over here where there's only a single IST. Look at the size of this horde of Tyranids. So he's just holding the 2 VPs right now, but he has seeded his power to achieve that, and that's quite concerning for Destoffel, because I assume that it means that the EA is just going to be able to go tier 3. Good thing for Destoffel is he's got a nice lead in terms of VPs. But this is a really quite tremendous backlog of power here for the Aversa Assassin. So even if he takes out these gens, the worry is that EA is going to go to tier 3 and then pick up the... what's he going to pick up? Terminators, Grey Knight Terminators, and that's going to be really, really difficult. I thought the Aversa Assassin was going to take the 1v1 with the Tyrant Guard then in the Sanctuary bubble. Seems more interested in bleeding his opponent. I was curious to see if he'd actually beat the Tyrant Guard one-on-one. I feel like he probably would, to be honest. Though I guess knockback might change that, knocking him out of the Sanctuary bubble. Alright. Swings and roundabouts here, we've got action all over the place. Venombrood trying to finish off the Gem Bash, going to get tied up by the IST and forced off by the Razorback, but we need some repairs over here. What's going on down here? You have IST who've caught the natural VP of Destoffel, but the Lictors took the contested back, and Destoffel already has the natural of the EA. The problem is this, Destoffel clearly suffering from a lot of bleed here, a lot of warrior bleed. Oh wow, he swapped. Oh no, these are an additional squad of Venombrood. Wow, he's got an additional squad of Venombrood now, which he has upgraded with Death Spitters, which are essentially like Inferno bolters that Zinchka Space Marines have in functionality. Just generalist good tools against all targets, particularly effective against sub-commander armor. Or commander armor. But not very good against Razorbacks. Oh wow, look at the damage from that smite. What level is that librarian? That's a level 1 librarian? Holy shit, that smite did loads. Wouldn't mind, but Death Spitter Venombrood have even more HP than other ones. Terminate librarian taking a bit of a duel with a Tyrant Guard. Not ideal for him. The EA can probably do it, but definitely not him. He got good damage though. Let's see, what's the EA doing? He's chasing the TG. Psychon is active. TG is going to charge. TG now isolated. Concerning position with the Aversa Assassin chasing. Oh yeah, he's going to tear this thing to pieces. Look at the damage output, man. Level 7, I told you he will be able to solo that thing. Definitely could. Definitely could. His damage output is crazy right now. Crazy. I'm not sure though that he can deal with this Lictor right now, because Lone Hunt is going to activate. Yeah, look at this damage. Oh, he's got him. Yeah, that was not worth it. A little bit of a misplay there from the Aversa Assassin. Destoff really just playing the VP game right now, because he's got 400 to the 105 of the EA, but Grey Knight Terminators have hit the field. I think he's done. I think he's done. He can't deal with this Razorback. Grey Knight Terminators are now on the field. You just got to keep harassing the contested with a Razorback whilst you sit the fucking EA plus Terminators on this point, and you're kind of chilling, aren't you? You're going to need to form back Carnifex, but Destoff doesn't even own his natural power, so I think he's done. You're trying to bleed out these last few VPs. Let's see, maybe he can manage it. Sneaking around. Tyrannid's greatest advantage, of course, is their speed. I mean, speed and the fact that they tend to have more capping squads than other factions means contesting map control against Tyrannids is just hell. Absolute hell on earth. Gene Stealer's coming out. I mean, they can do something to Terminators, so can Death Spitters, but I still, it's not ideal. Really, you want to form back Carnifex. Yeah, plasma guns here on the IST in tandem with the Razorback. So much damage, man. That was a nice chem nade, just as the Lictor were chasing. This EA has gone absolutely rampant this match. Absolutely rampant. G-Stealer's now caught without any synapse, quite squishy. The Aversa Assassin is just unrelentless, man. Charging forward, pumping himself full of drugs, tearing G-Stealers apart. Nothing can stop him. Nothing can stop this guy. And as I suspected, the Terminator the Grey Knight Terminators have gone down to the bottom here, took this point with the Terminator Librarian rotating over to support them. Nothing's going to be able to get rid of these. And he's even struggling to get rid of the Aversa Assassin himself. We even have Purifiers coming out now. I'm not sure why. Should have been the bottom of Razorback. That's what I'm trying to think of. A little bit late there on the Chemnade. Activated Bio Meltdown at the last second. No, he didn't. It's just the explosion from the Chemnade. We need a different visual indicator for Chemnades and Bio Meltdown. Something that we need. Can some of you guys just remind me in the video whenever it comes out to note that again? We need a different visual effect for the Chemnade versus Bio Meltdown. Oh, finally managed to kill the Razorback. I'm not really sure what the Purifiers are doing. They're in here. They got one model kill on the Warriors, but now Genestealer is going to deter them. Obviously quite a lot going on right now. You've got Venom Spitters, Death Spitter, Venom Brood firing in the Purifiers. Oh, but here comes the Terminator Librarian and the Grey Knight Terminators. Yikes. Yep, see you later, mate. See you later, mate. I didn't turn off my Discord sound. Brilliant. Good job, Torpid. Destoff actually in this, like, he managed to decap and cap the natural again with the Lictor. He's got Toxic Cysts, make him a little bit tankier. I don't know why the Aversa Assassin went for Purifiers and not a Baltimore Razorback. That seems frankly ludicrous. He gets the decap. Lictor's gonna have to get out of there though because the EA is moving in. Wow, he's taking the fight. I don't think he wants this fight. No. I don't even think he can 1v1 the EA at this point. Not if he gets hit by Chemnades, reducing his damage by 50%. This guy's too strong at level 9. One of the downsides of the Neuro Gauntlet is you don't get specials. But because he's level 9, he'll be immune to any specials from the level 3 Lictor anyway. But if they were even, then that would be a massive advantage that the Lictor would have. The ability to special. And it probably would swing it in his favour. I mean, if they were same levels, the Lictor would slaughter an EA 1v1, I think, with the Lone Hunter buffs. Without the Lone Hunter buffs, it'd be different. I think the Aversa Assassin would win then. But it's the speed of the Aversa Assassin, man. He's been just hunting down these warriors relentlessly. And that's his real power. He's not really meant to be like a duelist as such. Which is definitely something the Lictor dominates at. Destoff's still in this. He's chasing after the Terminators with Genestealers and a Lictor. Surely the Terminators can just turn around and rip these Genestealers to pieces. I don't know why they're fleeing, to be honest. And finally, a Vortimer Razorback is coming en route. IST going to take over the point. Yeah, I'm not sure what the... I don't know why they're running away from Genestealers which don't even have melee synapse. I know there was a Lictor around. Probably didn't want to fight the Genestealers whilst there was a Lictor there, but he probably could have still beat both. Maybe lost a model, but who cares? So Terminator's going to get on the Lictor there. Purifiers once again getting kind of wrecked, to be honest. Do we actually have a Bio Meltdown here, or is this just Chemnades? Can't tell. No, this is a Bio Meltdown, right? Look, he's not focusing the Hormagaunts. Oh yeah, wipes the Hormagaunts. Pops another model on the Warriors. Big backlash. Look at this. EA just forcing off the whole army. Yeah, beautifully done. Vortimer Razorback hits the field, and that is basically going to be the end of Destoffel, and he's ratting around. He lost his Lictor Alpha over at the VP when we were watching down here. Close. He got close. Got him down to 75 VPs. Obviously a high pressure build from Destoff, a lot of melee. Rippers were a little bit redundant and ineffective. I'm not sure about the second Venom Brood. I think that's maybe where he went wrong. Second Venom Brood into Death Spitters really sealed the deal for him not getting tier 3, but then again he kind of... Maybe he did that because he recognised he lost all his power, so getting to tier 3 and getting a form back out, probably unrealistic. Probably better to double down in tier 2 and try and win on VPs, so... A sound strategy. Very odd choice for the Purifiers. It doesn't really make any sense to get them so late, but... Anyway, there you go. Bit of Ordo Malleus and Tyranids. 2 factions you don't see too often. Hope you enjoyed that one, folks. I am going to be signing out.